Hope my screen is visible to all. So, welcome to the online lecture for behavioral style of modeling. In previous two sessions, we covered about structured procedures, initial and always block, and in the previous session we covered procedural assignments, blocking and non-blocking statements, assignment statements. In today's class, we are going in detail about this timing control. In this timing control, we have delay-based timing control, event-based timing control, and level-sensitive timing control. The first two being very important, very frequently we will be using. Level-sensitive as a concept we'll just study. Without level-sensitive, explicit statement also we can make the code to work. But as it is in the flow of our study, we'll study that also. So let us go there. So here is a timing control. The timing controls provide a way to specify the simulation time at which procedural statement will execute. Very simple. Why timing controller needed is you want to assign certain variable with the right hand side expression or maybe with some value itself after some particular delay time. So to work with delay or to control the timing of the execution of the statement, we use a timing control. There are three methods: delay based, event based, level sensitive. And again, in the delay based, it has been classified into regular delay control, intra assignment delay control, zero delay control. And in event based timing control, it is been classified, sub classified into regular event control, named event control, and event or control. Let us first choose this one for our study. So delay based timing control goes like this. So it's an expression, it is in an expression that specifies the timing duration between when the statement is encountered and when it is executed. It's like when it should execute, that you'll be deciding on the basis of this delay based timing control. So delays are specified by the symbol hash. Always remember this. So symbol hash represents the delay specification, and it can be specified by a number, identifier, or min type max expression. Anything it can be. Means after hash, you can have either number or else you can have an identifier. So to this identifier, you can assign some value, integer value or anything, or else you can have min, max, min, typical, max. So this we had studied in gate level modeling. Same thing can be followed here. So normally in Xilinx simulator, it will choose typical delay model. So syntax for the delay based timing control is as shown. So here you need to specify the delay. So here it is. First thing, here it was hash number. This is the first way of representing. Okay. Hash identifier is the second way of representing. Hash min type, max type, min typical max expression, and comma min typical. Again, you can have rise delay, fall delay. All those things can be declared and followed by expression. So this is the syntax of the delay based timing control. So as I had already said, there are three types of delay control for procedural assignment: regular delay control, intra-assignment delay control, and zero delay control. We shall just go in detail with those all things. So delay-based timing control, the first classification is regular delay control. And here, the delay control to the left of the assignment. It is written to the left of the assignment. I'm taking a pseudo code to explain it. Let us utilize a parameter called latency. You know that parameter is a keyword. Parameter is a keyword, so which is initialized to just before the start of the module body. Here what we do is wherever it normally acts as your define command of your C program. Wherever you use a variable latency, or we call it as parameter latency, it gets replaced with 20. Similarly here, wherever you use a delta parameter or variable, it gets replaced with a constant 2. That's the meaning. So we declare following register variables x, y, z, pq. Initial begin, because we have multiple statements here. X equal to 0, there is no delay mentioned, hence no delay control. After 10 time units, delay control is specified to the left of the assignment. This is the assignment statement. This is the assignment statement. Okay, left of the assignment statement is your delay. Okay, so this is how the delay, regular delay control is mentioned. And this delay is been mentioned with a number. Okay, delay control with a number. With that example, I have taken this. Next, hash latency. What's the meaning of latency? It's been defined as a parameter. Wherever latency is there, you can replace it with, simulator will replace it with, or compiler will replace it with 20. So hash 20 z equal to 0. That's what is the meaning. But delay control we have specified with a identifier. Second kind of usage. And you can also have a delay control with an expression too. So with an expression, how it is written? So in the bracket, latency plus delay. Latency is 20. Latency is 20. Delta is 2. So 20 plus 2 is 22. After 22 time minutes, P is assigned with 1. And next, hash Y is an identifier again. So what's the value of Y? Y value is 1 here. So that after 1 time units, X is getting incremented. Okay, so this is also a delay control with an identifier example. Next comes the minimum, typical and maximum delay values. So you know that these minimum, typical and maximum values are separated using a colon, whereas rise delay, fall delay and turn off delay were separated using a comma. If I write comma here and then write next to typical, minimum and maximum delays, then that becomes fall delay. Followed by one more, if I write, it will become turn off delay. Here only one time it is written, so rise delay, fall delay and turn off delay all being same. And the first of term of the this min, max and typical is the minimum delay. This is minimum delay, this is typical delay, and this is maximum delay. This is how it goes. Okay, so how it works, that we will understand using a Xilinx simulator. Okay, I'll just take a Xilinx simulator in order to analyze it. So here's a Xilinx simulator. I have already opened it. So code I have kept ready. So first code, let me take a regular delay control code. Right click, new source, Verilog module. So I name it as Verilog delay control, regular delay. Next, no inputs and outputs. We are just checking the delay concepts. Whenever I'm teaching you the concepts, you will not encounter any inputs and outputs. Okay. So I define parameters. Everything else I take it in the same manner. Yeah, here you can check. Let me zoom it. So what I have changed is I have started code from parameter, just it was a pseudo code. I define a module regular delay, rest everything is same, x, y, z, p, q, latency equal to 0, delta equal to 2. Initial begin, x is no delay, this is after 10 time minutes, after latency plus delay, delta p will be activated, allotted with value. X gets incremented after this one, minimum, typical, maximum delay. And here Xilinx simulator will take typical delay. Normally the Verilog simulators will be declared in it will be taking typical delay concept. Okay, so this is the code that I had taken. Let me save it. I'll not implement it, I'll directly simulate it. So the name given was regular delay. So double click on it. Here we need to check whether the variables are assigning with a new value with the time mentioned or not. Delay control is happening or not. That is what we are checking here. Yeah. So simulate behavioral model is completed successfully. Yeah. Zoom to fit. Let me zoom it from the 0 nanoseconds. Yeah, here. At 0 nanoseconds, what all things are happening? That is what we check now. Okay. Yeah. Let me show it. Yeah. Here you can see x is equal to 0. X is equal to 0 without any delay at 0 nanosecond. Y is getting updated to value 1 after 10 time minutes. You can see here Y is getting value at after 10 time minutes. After 10 time minutes, Y is getting the value. And next in my code is Z equal to 0 after latency amount of time. Latency is 20 time minutes. So where is 20 time minutes? At 20 time minutes plus this 10, because in the code 10 time minutes would have already passed, plus latency is defined as 20. 10 plus 20 is 30 time minutes. Z should be 0. That is what we check. At 30 time minutes, you can see here Z is changing the value to 0. And after that, latency plus delta, 22 time minutes, P is equal to 1. 22 time minutes plus 30. 30 plus 22 is 52. At 52, this is almost near to 52. Here it is. At 52 time units, P is getting updated with new value equal to 1. So after that, we have hash y x equal to x plus 1. X is incrementing after y time units. Y is 1. Y is 1 after just 1. At 53. At 53, x is getting incremented to 1. So after that, typical delay, all these things have been mentioned. Typical delay 5 unit will be preferred. So you can see here we are at 53 plus 5 is 58. See here you can see at 58 time units q is getting updated. I mean q is equal to 0. So this is how the simulator work. Okay, this is how the simulator, I mean the code works with a delay control. You can have the delay mentioned using a number or an identifier or the expression or with minimum, typical, maximum delay. So all these things are possible. I hope the things are clear. Let us move forward. Next example is the delay based timing control. So this delay based timing control, next kind is intra assignment delay control. Sorry, intra assignment delay control is the second time. Here the delay control is to the right of an assignment. You can see here. Here is the place where it is written. So assignment operator is this one. Right of this assignment operator, we mentioned the intra assignment delay. Initial, begin, end. So x equal to 0, x 0, z equal to 0 is no delay, no delay control at all. Y is equal to hash phi x plus z means x plus z will assign the value to the y only after 5 time units. So take value of x and z time 0 and evaluate, then wait for 5 time units to assign the value of the y. So what happens is this expression will evaluate at 0 simulation time itself. Okay, and after 0 simulation time, x plus z would have been evaluated already, and that intermediate results would have been stored at some temporary variable. X plus z is 0 plus 0. 0 would have been stored at some temporary variable. But this will be assigned to y only after 5 time minutes. Only after 5 time minutes. So this is how the intra-assignment delay control works. Whereas the regular delay control, in regular delay control, it was not happening. After 10 time minutes itself, this right hand side expression would have computed and all these things would have happened. But here, right hand side expression is evaluating at zero simulation time itself without waiting for the specified delay. But assigning to the left hand side is taking the delay. So hence it is called as intra assignment. While assigning, there is a delay. So intra assignment delay. So equivalent method with temporary variable and regular delay. So with regular delay itself, if we want to explain this intra assignment delay, how it would have been looked. So x equal to 0, z equal to 0. So before that, I have a temporary register wherein it will store the x plus z value. I said it here. So it will store the value of x plus z in a temporary register at zero simulation time itself, because at this simulation time itself it would have been completed its evaluation, but its value is going to update in y only after 5 time minutes. So this is the explanation of intra assignment delay using regular delay concept. So take value of x plus z at current time and store it in the temporary variable. The value assigned to y at a time phi is unaffected. Okay. So intra-assignment delays are like using regular delays with a temporary variable to store the current value of the right-hand side expression. So this is a delay based intra-assignment delay based control. Again, let me take the Xilinx simulator to explain it. So I have extended the code. So let me just extend that. So this is a code, just extend it. So this is a code now. What I'm doing is, to explain intra-assignment delay, I have to declare I and j. So I and j has not been declared here. Let me declare it as I and j first. And after that, let us check the difference between these two initial blocks. You know, this is first initial block. This is second initial block. So what we are checking here is, this is regular delay control. This is intra-assignment delay control. Expression is same. What I'm doing is, for I variable, I am evaluating y plus 1. Here also y plus 1. Only thing is, same delay control I have used, plus 10, plus 10. So here what is happening is, just check here, at 10 time minutes y is getting value assigned to 1. Value is 1. 1 plus 1, as it is a single bit, I should have a 0 value. I should get a 0. I should be 0 because y is getting 1 after 10 time minutes. So after 10 time minutes, if I has to receive the new value 1 plus 1, I should have received 0. Here also same thing, j should have received 0. But as it is intra-assignment delay, this y plus 1 will evaluate at 0 simulation time itself. At 0 simulation time, y is not yet defined. Its value is not yet defined, not yet declared. Only x value is declared. So after 10 time minutes only y will be receiving 1. But before that, y's value is undefined. So undefined plus 1 is undefined itself. So I has to receive undefined value because it's a intra-assignment delay. But here it is not so. In regular control delay, y is having valid logic because after 10 time minutes, I would have received y is equal to 1. So when y is equal to 1, 1 plus 1, j will receive 0. There will be no problem with j. But as it is an intra-assignment delay, y is still undefined because this expression will evaluate at 0 simulation time itself. As this expression is evaluating at 0 simulation time, at 0 simulation time there is no value defined for y. So hence it will take y value as undefined. Undefined plus 1 is still undefined, and undefined value will get assigned to I only after 10 time minutes. So I will receive undefined value. So save it. I'll just simulate it. Our concentration is only on I and j, nothing else. Okay, because all these values parameters we have already analyzed in regular control delay. Just I and j will concentrate now. So it's completed successfully. So my concentration is only on I and J. Zoom to fit. I'll zoom it here. You can check. So I is remaining undefined all the time. No value has been assigned to I. I is undefined because Y is undefined at zero simulation time. Y is not at all defined. When it is not defined, its value is computed as undefined. After 10 time units, that undefined value is getting assigned to I. So hence you are having undefined always. Whereas for J, unlike in I, J, Y plus 1 will evaluate only after 10 time units. By 10 time units, Y would have received 1. So 1 plus 1 is 0. So the 0 is getting allotted to J after 10 time units. So hence your G0 value to the J is getting assigned to 0 only after 10 time units. This is intra-assignment delay concept. I hope the things are clear. Next is third type, zero delay control. So this zero delay control is the third and last type of delay based control. Here what happens is this zero delay control executes last to eliminate race condition. We use zero delay control in order to eliminate the race condition. The order of execution of these statement is different than that is specified in always initial block. So in case if there are some parallel blocks of always and initial, and the order of execution of those statements, if it is undeterministic, then we use this zero delay control. So what is this method? So it is a method to ensure that the statement is executed last. Whenever you mention zero delay to particular statement, it will execute last after all the statement in that simulation time are executed. However, if there are multiple zero delay statement, the order between them is again non-deterministic. Example, think that I have two initial blocks. This is first initial block, this is second initial block. So both starts executing at zero simulation time. X is being allotted with 0, Y is being allotted with 0 at 0 simulation time. Here X is being forced 1, Y is being forced at same 0 simulation time. Which one should be executed first? There is a confusion. And this case is called non-deterministic. To solve it, what we use? We use a zero delay control. Zero delay control means specify hash 0. This is itself is a zero delay control. Zero delay control. This is itself is called as zero delay control. When I mention this, the priority is given the priority is given to the other one. Means wherever zero delay is mentioned, that will execute last. Okay, that is executed after all the other statement. It is executed last after all the other statements in the simulation. That's the meaning. Okay, since x equal to 1, y equal to 1 have hash 0, they will execute last. Thus, at the end of 0, x will have value 1, y will have value 1. The order in which x equal to 1, y equal to 1 are executed is non-deterministic. Okay, between this, which one executed first? It is non-deterministic. But between this and this will be executed last. Hence, the last updated value is 1, x equal to 1, and y equal to 1. And in Xilinx simulator, for ICM simulator, if you don't mention this hash 0, still it will make some decision. The code is written for the simulator such that it will take any one of this value. Okay, so that is how the simulators are designed. Every simulator differ by itself. Okay, these are very minute concept to understand. Let me take the zero delay concept. So I am having one more initial block now for explaining zero delay. So initial hash 0 is equal to x equal to 1. Here I have defined x equal to 0. Here I defined x equal to 1. Let us remove this 0 and check what happens. initial, this also starts executing at same time, this also execute at same time, x equal to 0 and x equal to 1. Which x it will take? That's a question. So here normally in concept in Verilog book what we studied is it is non-deterministic, but in simulator they will find out some solution for it. What they do is they will have written some code to solve such problems. So we'll see what Xilinx iSIM simulator will do in this case. When I force x equal to 0 and x equal to 1, same time, at a time I am forcing. So which one it will take? So it is simulator dependent again. So this simulator may behave differently than the other company's simulator. Okay. So let us check how it becomes, how it behaves, and after that we assign zero delay control. Our concentration is only on x. X value is 0. See here, something it has happened here. Sorry, not that one. So at 0 simulation time only we need to check, because x getting updated after some time. That is how the code we had written. You know, here x is getting updated after time. That is not our concentration. At 0 simulation time, our concentration is. At 0 simulation time, x is being taken as 1. So which one it considered? This one it considered. Why it considered this? Even I don't have answer, because simulator is designed so. Okay, think that I want out of these two statements, if I want this statement to execute last, then I use hash 0. If I use hash 0, I'll close the earlier simulator. So x equal to 1. So there also that statement gets executed last. This statement gets executed last. I can confirmly say now that x will be 1 itself, because 0 delay control I have specified in that manner. Sorry. So I'm sure that x equal to 1 by this time, because 0 delay control is mentioned. Earlier I was not, sure, because it is simulator dependent. Now I'm sure. So it is taking some time to open. You can check. At 0 simulation time, sorry, at 0 simulation time, x value is 1. So x value is 1 means I have mentioned hash 0, here, hence this is executed last. Now if I specify hash 0 here, what happens? This will be executed last, so x value will be 0 for sure. That I'll show it. So these are the minute concept where normally we fail to understand perfectly. So we are trying to make the concept very clear using these simulators. Yeah, you can check now. You can check here. X is equal to 0. X value is 0 now. So this is how you can understand the 0 simulation time or 0 delay control. So 0 delay control is the one wherever I put, that will be executed last. Okay. So with this we are done with first type of timing control, that is delay based timing control. We'll move on to the next one. I hope the things are clear up till now. The next one is event based timing control. And event based timing control, again it has got subclassified into three types. Let us see what is the meaning of it. What is an event? An event is change in a value. Remember this. An event is change in a value on a register or a net. So events can be utilized to trigger execution. You have been used this already. So, or a block of statements. So this at symbol is used to specify the event control. You have used this at symbol already, right? So what the meaning of this at is? At means whenever an event occur or whenever the value changes on the things that is of our focus, then something should be triggered. So that is the meaning of event-based timing control. There are three kinds of the timing control: regular event control, named event control, and event or control. Okay, so these controls we shall just study in detail. So event-based timing control, at symbol is used to verify the specify the event control. Statements can be executed on changes in signal value or at positive or negative transition of the signal value. So think that you want to keep that edge sensitiveness of the clock. Then we use a positive edge and negative edge transition as a triggering point. The keyword positive is used for positive transition. Similarly, the keyword negate is used for negative transition. So here are the some of the example. At clock q equal to d. What's the meaning of it? Q equal to d is executed whenever clock changes its value, either 0 to 1 or 1 to 0. Any transition. Any transition, Q is updated with D. That's the meaning. What's the meaning of this? Pause edge. Pause edge means it will execute only for transition from 0 to 1. Neg edge means only executes when the transition is happening from 1 to 0. So Q is equal to at pause edge. This is also one of the way. So this is evaluated immediately and assigned to Q at the positive edge of the unit. So D's value is stored in some temporary variable at 0 simulation time, and it will assign the value to the Q only after encountering the pause edge of the clock, that is 0 to 1. That edge, whenever it appears, then only this D value will get updated to Q. So this is a regular delay control. Let me take the Xilinx simulator to explain it. So here I'm taking the D flip-flop, D latch to explain. So I have a D latch. New source, very long module, latch. I named it as latch. Next, finish. So D latch code we have been writing in many different ways, and this is using always block. D latch Q D. I'll zoom it. Q D clock reset. All these are outputs and inputs. Q is output, D is input, data input, clock and resets are the inputs. So output Q, input D clock reset. So this output Q is also declared as reg, or else you can directly write as Q. Let us not worry about it. So this is how it is written. Always at, this is first one that we have control is regular event control. So regular event control. Let me complete this whole of the event control, then we will take it. Okay. So regular event control is done. After that, named event control. So named event control, Verilog provides the capability to declare an event and then trigger and recognize the occurrence of that event. The event does not hold any data. The named event is declared as event. So you remember this two statements, that is sufficient. An event is triggered by the symbol a hyphen greater than symbol. The triggering event of this is recognized by a symbol at. So I'll just take an example to explain it. See, this is an optional one. Without this also you can work. See, I have a keyword called event. This is the first statement. That keyword event, I have defined some identifier received underscore data. So this is an event I have defined, received underscore data. So this received underscore data, I'll trigger it on the basis of some condition that we'll see. Always at pose edge of clock. If last data packet is equal to 1, then this received underscore data is triggered. This is triggered. Event triggered by the symbol hyphen greater than symbol. So when this event is triggered, you can use this received underscore data anywhere in the sensitivity list. So this gets triggered on the basis of pause edge as well as last data packet, and when this gets triggered, then only the following statement gets executed. This is the named event control. Means I'm using a received underscore data name. Using this name, I am triggering. Using this name itself, I am using it in the sensitivity block. Okay, so that's why it is named event control. A very rare use of this. We normally don't use it. Next is event or control. What is the meaning of or control? Means you can have multiple variables on which you can check its sensitivity. For example, a transition on any one of the multiple signals or events can trigger the execution of the statements or the block of the statement. This is expressed as the OR of the events. The list of the events or the signal expressed as an OR is also known as a sensitivity list. The keyword OR is used to use multiple triggers. Means I want the following statement should execute when reset is changing its value, or clock is changing its value, or D is changing its value. I want to have all these in the sensitivity list. What to do? Put all those things using OR event control. That's it. Okay, so when reset is triggered, then also it executes. When clock is triggered, then also it executes. When D is triggered, then also it executes. That's the meaning of OR control. Okay, so with this, we shall go to the Xilinx simulator. So in Xilinx simulator, I have taken this OR control first. That's why I just covered that. Always at reset or clock or D. So any one of the statement is executed, it'll just execute. Save it, and I'll highlight latch. Check syntax. Next piece of the code I'll take, that is a stimulus block. So it is checking the syntax. There are some errors. Q is not declared, it is saying here small q is used. Let us do one thing, as it is case sensitive here. Okay, so I updated q. So let us check if it executes without any errors. So it is taking some time. So meanwhile, one more error. No error. Check syntax completed successfully. Now I will have a test bench, test fixture by the name stimulus event. So we are checking events, so that's why I'm naming it in that fashion. So here out of this, carefully select latch. Okay, latch, finish it. Okay, so here I'm copying that code. So I have copied the code. Okay, so save it, go to simulator, stimulus underscore event. I'll run the simulate behavioral model. You can check that whether there is a change in preset, D or clock, that particular following statements get executed. That's what we are verifying now. So it's completed successfully. iSIM simulator launched. Zoom to fit. I'll zoom. You can see here. D is changed. D is changed. So whatever value I wanted to have. So it depends on like what time what is getting changed. Fine. So here in the code is written as the latch. It's a latch code. So in the latch, reset is highest preference because it's a asynchronous reset because it comes before the clock. First reset checks if it is 0. If reset is 1, then Q is 0. If reset is 0, then only it will check for clock. If clock is 1, D is assigned with Q is assigned with D. Whether that is happening or not, let us check. First, reset is checking. Reset is 1. Without checking for clock, we decide Q value to be 0. When reset is 0, we check clock. When clock is 1, D is changing to 1, so 1 is getting updated. Reset is 0. Again, clock is 1. D is changing to 0, it is 0. So D is changing to 1, again it is changing 1 because it is still in the level. That clock level is 1. So when clock is 1, so your D is propagated directly to the Q. When clock is 0, D will be not propagating to the Q. So the first preference is given to reset. So this is how the code executes for latch, delatch. Now, if I want to make, I can say, sorry, if I want to have flip-flop, if I want to have flip-flop here, so what I do is, let me retain the name as latch itself, let us not worry. In this place, I use a flip-flop, edge triggered flip-flop. So edge triggered flip-flop code, I'll just put it, copy. So I remove this, or let me just comment it. Let me comment it. Okay. So I'm using edge trigger now. Pause edge of clock. Then I'm checking reset. Then I'm checking reset. Clock. I'm matching with the inputs. Pause edge of clock. Then I'm checking reset. So if reset is first preference is clock. If pause edge of clock is appeared, then only we'll check reset. If reset is 1, Q is 0. If reset is not 1, then Q is updated with D. So this is what we check now. Save it. So before we proceed, latch has been updated, hence I check the syntax of it before I proceed. I'll check the syntax and then let's check. So once the syntax check is done, we'll proceed with the next one. So it is done. Now I'll keeping the same stimulus block, I'll execute simulate behavioral model. Now you can see that there will be edge triggered. It's edge sensitive because we have used pause edge of the clock. At symbol, event control, pause edge of the clock. So it's not level triggered. So it's completed successfully. Yeah, zoom to fit. You can see here. So clock positive edge is here. Only here it will check. Sorry, clock is here. Clock positive edge is here. Only here it will check whether reset is 1. Reset is 1, it will not going to update anything. I'll come over here when reset is 0. So reset is 0 here. Now again, when clock is 1, it is check D value. D value is 0. So it is not getting updated anything. So wherever you check, D value is maintaining to be 0 whenever there is a pause edge. Hence, Q is maintained 0 all the time. So Q is maintained all the time 0 because D is falling to value 0 whenever the pause edge of the clock is appearing. So this is the edge triggered flip-flop. So very important to note the difference between edge triggered and level triggered. Okay. So this example I just quoted in order to explain you the difference between the edge triggered and level triggered. Okay. Next, level sensitive timing control. Level sensitive timing control is the last one. Again, it is not having much prevalence in the Verilog thing because we can without using also we can do this with the things that we already know. So event based timing control earlier waited for the change of the signal or the triggering of an event. The symbol at is used provided for edge sensitive trigger. Verilog also allows level sensitive timing control. So how it is done? Level sensitive control is the ability to wait for a certain condition to be true before a statement or a block statement is executed. You need to wait for certain conditions to evaluate to be true. before you execute. So that also is possible. The keyword wait is used for level sensitive construct. Always wait. So this is a statement. Wait for count underscore enable. When this is true, if this is true, then only this statement gets executed. Okay, or else it will not execute. That is after 20 time minutes count equal to count plus 1. Why it is not much prevalence? Because very next slide or next session we study about conditional statement, if else statement. This if else statements are so much useful for us, so that this statement can also be, this concept can also be implemented using if else statement. Hence we have not been used wait statement. Normally we don't use it. Okay, if count enable is 0, the statement is not entered. If it is logical 1, the statement count equal to count plus 1 is executed after 20 time minutes. If count enable stays at 1, count will be incremented every 20 after every 20 time minutes. Okay, incremented after every 20 time minutes. This is how it proceeds. So this is all about the event controls. In the next session, we are taking conditional assign statements, that is if else statement and case statements and all. So if you have any doubts, please come up in the chat box. Meanwhile, we'll summarize the things. So to summarize, today we studied about the timing controls, the first being delay based timing controls. So delay based timing control. Here, delay based timing control. There we had following things. One is regular delay control. Next is we had intra assignment delay control. Intra assignment delay. Next we had zero delay control. And what is the difference between all these things? The first difference is it is where it actually exists, it has to be put left to assignment, left to assignment, or else I can left to the whole expression. Okay, left to expression or assignment. Fine. So this one, right to the assignment, right to the assignment operator, assignment operator, that is equal to or block non-blocking, these things. Zero delay, it's nothing to do with these things. Okay, it is as same as regular control, left to assignment operator. Okay, next the method is like hash delay. We mentioned the delay. So this is how we mention. So here first what happens is RHS will evaluate first, evaluate first. Okay, assignment occurs, happens after specified delay, specified delay. Whereas in zero delay, so it eliminates, actually it eliminates race condition. That's why it is used. The statement execute last. Okay, so hash delay, hash zero executes last. That's how it eliminates the control. So this is about delay based. Next, we had the other delay controls, that is event control. So event based, I can say. So in event based, we have again regular and then named, and again we had or. OR is used for multiple variables sensitiveness. Okay. Regular is normally with at whatever you put, with that basis it will work. Named means we will employ a name with this operator in extra, and there is a keyword called event being used. So this is the event based delay control, and we have one more called level based event control. Here we use a wait statement for some condition to be checked. So this is level based. So this is all about delay based control and all those things, all the things that we um, learned today. Before we complete the class, I have one more important thing to be told. Level sensitive and edge sensitive. So we normally come across these two things. Which is more important? Normally, this is very much prevalently used in digital circuit. This is less frequently used in digital circuit. To explain it, think that I have a clock. This is a clock. Okay. Here also let me take the same clock. Okay. And think that I'm having D. Fine. So this D will go like this, and it will rise here and it will fall here. It will go in this fashion, and again it will continue here in this fashion. It will go down. So Q we need to analyze. Here also D I will take in the same fashion. Okay. So Q here also I need to analyze. Okay. And as it is level control, so in this place it is active. In this place it is active. In this place it is active. As it is edge triggered, in this place it is active. In this place, let us take positive edge. Okay. Positive edge. In this place it is active. Now Q to be defined. So here Q will be assigned directly with D. So D initially it is 0. As soon as D goes to 1, so it is clock is enabled. It is level is okay. So this is enabled. So this will update, and it is going to 0 at the same time. It is also getting enabled. So again here this is not updated because it is not at reach the level, and here again it will rise, again it will fall because clock is 1. It will proceed. So this is how the level sensitive flip-flop work or latch work. Here it will check at this particular levels. This level, this level, this level. What is the value of D here? 0. So it will continue to be 0 itself. Continue. At this again it will check, it is 1. So it will take to 1. So it will proceed. At this it will check, again it is 0. So 0. So this is how it will work in edge triggered, edge sensitive flip-flop. Why it is used? Normally in JK flip-flop and T flip-flop. Okay. So if we use level triggered, it will result in race condition. Toggling, continuous toggling, race condition. If we use edge triggered, it will eliminate race condition. Eliminate race condition. So that's why we use edge triggered, or else one more thing you might have come across, that is master slave JK latch. So this master slave will result in edge triggered itself. So this is all about today's summarization. So if you have any doubts, please come up in the chat box. Okay, thank you.